What's up, kids? It's Caleb here from the Game Glyph, and it's been a minute. You guys probably all thought I was dead or I'd completely forgotten about doing this. Or I just didn't care anymore. Or maybe I was just going to release a bunch of Castlevania Let's Plays. No, that's not true. I've been getting settled here in California, and I'm pretty much there. I'm not completely where I want to be. Don't have my game room set up or anything like that. So who am I? Where's my wall of games behind me? I can't be a gaming YouTuber proper without a wall of games behind me. That's totes not true, yuns. Totes not true. So, here's another long-awaited Saturn Day video. Today we're going to talk about the game Virtua Fighter. That was a pack-in game for the Sega Saturn when it was released. Not Virtua Fighter Remix or Virtua Fighter 2. Let's talk about the first Virtua Fighter for Sega Saturn. Check it out. Virtua Fighter is a 3D polygonal fighting game for an era when 3D fighting games were still experimental. It had its initial arcade release in 1993. The game's producer, Yuri Suzuki, was more than competent in his role with a pedigree of innovative games under his belt, the likes of which including Hang On, Space Harrier, and even helping to pioneer 3D gaming with Virtual Racing. It was developed by Sega's internal team, AM2, and was a mega hit in the arcades and also really paved the way for the future of 3D fighting games. The success of the arcade game has seen more than a suitable launch title and pack-in game for the soon-to-be-released, too-soon-released Sega Saturn. Upon release, the game was met with some pretty negative reviews, critics panning the downgraded graphics, buggy collision detection, amongst many other things. Was Virtua Fighter 1 a huge flop on the Sega Saturn, or is it merely a rushed port of an arcade game, and should it be respected for what it is? Even though Sega themselves were unhappy with the release and they offered a free upgraded version of the game called Virtua Fighter Remix to anyone that received the game upon release, let's just examine the game, see what it is, see if there are enough merits of value to make the game actually worth a crap, or should the game be lost forever in the sewers of time. The presentation of the game really isn't that bad. The title screens and menus are pretty slick for their time, and the character select screen as well as the music is perfect and it fits. I enjoyed the opening sequence that showcases some of the character models and animations, giving the player a taste for what's to come. There's really no storyline or exposition in this game. It's pretty much just select your character and fight everyone. By fighting everyone, you finally get to an end boss named Dural, who's an androgynous, mercury-skinned, weird, strange, liquid, T-1000 looking creature. You only get one chance to fight it, until it goes straight to the credits if you die. You have to start all the way back over again. Dural, you suck. It's freaking hard as crap. The graphics are the main gripe factor of the game. I know this was 1995 and a launch game for the Saturn, but yikes! This looks more like the 3D models you'd see before the real 3D models are introduced. There are very few polygons per character, and it's a noticeable downgrade from the arcade version. The animation is pretty fluid, but the overall game seems to run really slow, and the entire game seems to have a real floaty feeling. This is kind of a total drag. The music is really great in this game. It has that really early 90s jazzy, funky feeling to it, and it gets me hyped every time I play. The voices from the arcade are all here, and they sound great too. The sound and the music in this game is definitely one of the strong suits. The controls are okay. They feel a bit sluggish and floaty, like your character just doesn't respond like they should. I'm not saying there's an input lag or anything, it just feels a little loose and floaty for my taste. The gameplay is Virtua Fighter in its original glory. It plays almost identical to its arcade counterpart, albeit a bit scaled down a tad in speed. A is block, B is punch, and C is for kicks. There are simple combos as well as multiple special moves per character, giving each fighter their own unique style. There are 3 ways you can defeat an opponent in this game. By beating that ass, by knocking or shoving them out of a ring like a total wuss, or by running out of time like a complete loser. You have Akira, who's not from the movie Akira, because that would be totally not fair for anybody else. But he kind of looks like Ryu, plays absolutely nothing like him. He's more of like a karate style fighter. And you have characters like Wolf, who's more of a wrestling type fighter, who just does grapples and holds you in really uncomfortable ways and slams you on the ground. So there's punches and kicks, throws, and special moves in this game, giving each character kind of their own unique feeling to them. And there are several characters you can choose from in this game. So it's a decent little roster of fighters. Of course there could be more, But this is just like the arcade, nobody was left out. The worst part about this game is after you get through all the selectable characters in this game, you get to Doral. And Doral is like this mercury-skinned, androgynous, weird, I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, she's really quite a sexual, feast to look at. But in reality, she's a total asshole. Cheap moves, you never know what they're gonna do. It's like the computer is calculating against you. Doral also moves a lot faster and is super duper cheap. You get one chance to defeat Doral. That's right, one round. You don't defeat Doral the first time, it's game over, motherfucker. All the way back to the beginning and start all the way over again. That's pretty freaking harsh. So, thanks, Doral. Thanks for being an ass crystal. Game starts out really easy. Easy until you get to Pi. Pi, you fucking bitch. Kick my ass over again as I lay, writhing and dying, helpless on the dirt. You think you're so funny, Pi, don't you, Pi? You know what, Pi? Die, Pi. That's right. I finally beat you by cheaping you out. I know that would eventually happen. So yeah, it's smooth until Pi, the demonic hellbeast, appears. It's a quick spike from that last fight to her. So prepare your anus for the ripping of a lifetime despite the difficulty set. If you do manage to best the evil one, there's still a hairy road in front of you to Doral. And Doral, oh my god, Doral is such a cheap, overpowered piece of coding terrorism. She, he, whatever, is as unrelenting as the T-1000 her design is ripping off. She shares a combination of moves and styles of various fighters, and will most certainly offer anyone a more than suffice challenge. And when you finally do best Doral, you're rewarded with credits and an unlocked ranking mode. See, that is cool, people. Unlocking new modes in the game is a neat feeling. You don't have to pay for it. It's not hid behind some paywall like a lot of other games, especially by Capcom, dare I say. Anyways, I digress. So in closing, the game is a bit buggy. Graphics are most certainly subpar, but the music and gameplay are intact and ripe for enjoyment. Virtua Fighter Remix fixes everything wrong with this game entry and serves up as a quelling love letter to all the complaints the original iteration received. But Virtua Fighter on its own stands up, and I would give the game a solid 6 out of 10 for Sega Saturn standards. It's a very playable game and should also serve as a reminder to developers not to rush your games for deadlines that you set yourselves in the first place. See what I did there? I was pleased as a child when I popped this game into my brand new Sega Saturn and marveled at the 3D graphics. Even though they were a bit crude, it was still the first 3D fighting game I'd ever owned and played at home, and I spent hours playing this game alone and with friends. Which means I was still alone because all my friends were imaginary, and nobody wanted to play this game that I knew because they were all playing Mortal Kombat. We laughed our asses off at the floaty-ass jumps, goofy character models, and faces, and feces. It's a classic, and it deserves a place in any respectable Sega Saturn collection. Also, in the jewel case, it comes with a poster that folds out showing off all the characters. I had this hung in my game room for years. Virtua Fighter 1 on the Sega Saturn. It's an ugly good time. My wall of games. 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 My wall of games behind